Hello and welcome to Leicester College's live on job applications, interviews, and apprenticeships. It's a National Apprenticeship Week this week, so we'll be seeing our apprenticeship team, and we've got our two career services on board as well to give you the best advice to give you all the skills you need. So I'm just going to bring up Holly, who's from our apprenticeship team. Hi, Holly.
Hello. Hi.
You're right. So Holly is just going to go through some information about apprenticeships with a presentation. So I'll bring that up for you now. There you go. Just tell me.
Perfect. Thank you, Adam. We just go to the next slide. Brilliant. So we wanted to start with apprentices. As Adam mentioned, it's National Apprenticeship Week this week. So we wanted to firstly give you a bit of an overview to what an apprentice is and who can do them. And then I'll go on to a few tips just to talk about the best way that you can get an apprenticeship and be successful in it, really. So firstly, what is an apprenticeship? So an apprenticeship is a real paid job. You're a real employee. You've got an actual employment contract with a business. It's a really, really great chance to earn experience as well as working towards your qualification that is a nationally recognised qualification. The basis of the training is 80% on the job and then 20% off the job training. So this can be, your 20% can be anything from going into the classroom learning, be it doing like an assessment or shadowing like a mentor or someone that you're working with on site. So it's really hands-on and you're always learning new things every day. Who can do an apprentice? So anyone above the age of 16 and living in England can do an apprentice. So some people think they're just for young people. They're not. They're for anyone. There isn't an age limit. You can either do an apprentice as soon as you leave school or you can do it alongside your full-time job that you do now. How do you get an apprenticeship? So one of the best ways probably to keep up to date with the vacancies are on the government's apprenticeship website. You can sign up for alerts on this as well, so you can see them coming through when they're posted live. If you are already employed and you think maybe an apprenticeship would really help upskill yourself or help you with a promotion, you can speak to your current employer. They can obviously speak to us just to understand the ins and outs of the apprenticeships. Another way is look into contacting some apprenticeship providers like ourselves. We have a dedicated team of recruitment officers that just deal with the apprenticeships, so they can see where the next vacancy is going to be coming from. We might get contacted now for an apprenticeship that will be starting in September. So it's really important that you keep in contact with them so we can help to match you to the best possible apprenticeship and employer. So you might be asking, what are the benefits over this rather than either going to university or carry on doing full-time learning? So the biggest one that is a really big attraction to apprenticeships is that you are earning a wage, you're earning money, it's giving you some independence, it's giving you some confidence to kind of get out into the workplace. And at the end of it, you receive a nationally recognised qualification, which is a massive bonus. You're also you're improving your employability skills, so you can make sure that in the future you've got the basics of being a good employee, and it will help you kind of secure your dream career in the future. As well as that, you'll always be learning in such a supportive environment, and you'll be getting trained by industry experts as well as our trainer assessors at the college. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the top tips to getting an apprenticeship. So the first one I always say is passion. It is so important that you've actually got a genuine interest in the thing that you're going to be studying. You'll find success comes a lot easier if you've got passion behind you. The next one is your attitude. So attitude plays a massive part in, one, securing an apprenticeship, and two, being successful and staying employed. So you can see there it says attitude is the ticket to success, which is 100% true. You need to have a really positive, can-do attitude. As I mentioned earlier, you can get email alerts from the government website, which is really important because you can see you'll get emailed each time to say that vacancies have gone live, and you can make sure you're applying for them, reading through them and taking your time on the application as well. So next one, so most apprenticeships, it is really important that you've got your maths and English GCSE. So if you're in school at the moment and you're thinking you want to go down the apprenticeship route, it's really important you get your head down and get them grades, the grade C or above in maths and English. If you don't, it's not the end of the world, but it will just make it a lot easier for yourself going forward. If you are still interested in apprenticeship and you haven't got your maths and English, you can do this alongside your qualification. So you'll work with our teachers in the college who offer a lot more support. Then they can help you achieve it alongside that. The next one is your communication. So this is obviously really important throughout your whole career, kind of going forward if you do start as an apprentice. But also before you get that apprenticeship, you've got to be on the ball with getting back to people. So if you've applied for a job and they want to see you for an interview, you need to make sure that you're on your emails, you're making sure you're answering the phone, so it's easy to get in contact with you. If they don't get in contact with you, they might take it as a kind of hint that you're not interested, and you don't want that if you are really interested. The next one, work experience. So I know it can be hard to get work experience for some people. However, there's loads of different ways that you can class work experience. This could be voluntary, it could be charity work, it could be working for a family business. Anything that gets you experience working in that kind of environment, it will really, really help yourself and benefit yourself to get that apprenticeship. And then the last one, we do like to say, always do have a backup plan. So it's always best probably not to put all your eggs in one basket, and make sure you have got different options. If there's one thing that you are really interested in, by all means go for that, but do have other options and different ways you can get into that industry as well. Thank you. I think over to Matt now.
Hi, my name is Matthew Smith. I'm a careers advisor for the National Careers Service at Leicester College. And what we do is we work with people that are 19 years and over. And that means we can help with lots of things, careers, courses, interviews, CVs, that sort of thing. I'll put our contact details on towards the end of this so you can get a good idea of what's available and how you can get in contact. But I'm going to quickly go through some tips when it comes to interview skills. Well, application forms actually, but it's kind of much the same thing. So when you're filling out an application form, it sounds a bit strange, but consider why you want the job. So your application form is a selling document to the employee. So you're telling them about your specific selling point. So whatever makes you good for the role, it's important to emphasize. That can be good communication skills, teamwork, creative thinking, organizational skills, IT skills, and then make an effort to try and back them up with examples, real world examples, either on a course or in other jobs where you've actually demonstrated those skills. And also tell the employer parts of the application form what interests you about the job. Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to work for that employee? Do a bit of research, find out about them. By the way, if you have questions, then by all means put them on the live stream and then we'll try and answer them at the end. And you can access a lot of this information on our social media channels. So that's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube as well. So in terms of sort of going into answering questions in an interview or application scenario, think about the questions you're going to be asked. So you might get asked questions, very specific questions about your experience, and they're quite easy to answer. You answer them providing evidence, but you might also get asked questions that are quite wide ranging and require you to think about, again, why you want the job and why you want to work for that particular organization. So why do you want to work here? What makes you a good candidate? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? These require you to think about your answers and structure them a little bit. But there are also answers you may find in multiple applications that you complete and that you can use time and again, adapting them for that particular application. So when we say 3 minutes or less, that kind of refers to answers within sort of an interview setting. But what I'm really trying to say is when you're answering a question, try and keep it concise. So what that means is trying to communicate quite a lot of information to the employer that you want them to know about yourself, but doing it in such a way that it's clear. Maybe it uses language that they use in the job advert as well, so certain jargon, just to promote understanding. But try, and I've done this myself, try not to ramble so much, because that can be a bit of an issue sometimes. And also, when you're in an interview situation, try to use, or an application situation or an interview situation, try to use the STAR technique when answering a question. So what that means is, basically, it helps you to structure your answer. So if you're thinking about a situation where you've demonstrated a certain skill or a certain amount of experience, think about STAR, so situation, task, action, result. So what was the situation? What did you do? What was the task? What was your action in that particular instance? And what was the result? So maybe there was a complaint, not of your making, but you took certain steps to resolve that complaint. And the result is the customer or client went away happy. So, and then maybe you can add to that going, okay, well, there was a system in place which caused this complaint to happen, and you took steps to make sure that system was corrected so that it didn't happen again. So yeah, so there are a few things to look at, and that's a bit of a skim over, but certainly if you wanted help exploring your application forms, interview skills, whatever it might be, then again, I'll be putting our contact details on towards the end of this presentation, and by all means ask any questions you've got as well. But thank you for listening.
Kind of applying for apprenticeships and you're applying for jobs, the last bit is the interview techniques, and this can be quite daunting. But some top tips here for one-to-one interviews, and I'm going to cover video interviews as well. So first of all, plan in advance. Think about things like, what you're going to wear, what you're going to take. Do you need your certificates with you? And if you've got any doubt, please contact the company that you're actually being interviewed for. If it's a one-to-one interview, obviously personal hygiene, your clean clothes, and make sure that you're there on time. Obviously, keep eye contact and smile. Eye contact is very, very, very important, and smiling, it all shows that you're enthusiastic and you want to be there. Research the company, go online, go on their website. Obviously, use things like social media, YouTube. There's a lot of great information that you can kind of glean lots of good information about the company. Keep your answers clear and simple, and always use examples to back up your ideas as well. So if you say something like, I'm a good team player, give an example when you've actually done that. Obviously, you should explain skills, abilities, experience in your own answers as well. And, you can practice. So you can practice doing a mock interview. Now, obviously, Matt's talked about the career service, and you can come and see us. And we do mock interviews as well, but you might want to do that in the family. And of course, Matt's also mentioned the STAR technique. Now, the STAR technique, the situation, task, action, and result, is fantastic about kind of putting a structure to your answers. Now, you can actually Google the STAR technique, obviously, and do a bit of research around it, but it's amazing. Okay, so now the next slide is all about video techniques. Now, obviously, in the current climate, if you're going to be interviewed now, the chances are it's going to be a video interview. Okay, so what do you need to remember when you do a video interview? Well, first of all, treat it like any other interview that you're going to have, in the sense, prepare for it, plan, do some research, and practice beforehand. Ensure that the room that you're using is clean and tidy, and also make sure that you've got nothing to distract you from behind you as well. Like, you haven't got sort of mad posters or things like that. And also, I would say, keep children and pets kind of away from the time when you're doing interviewing. Definitely do not have your the TV or radio playing. Don't have anything like that, because it can really distract you as well and actually make you look quite incompetent. And finally, you do need to dress appropriately as well. I mean, this is important. So you've got to dress like the way you would dress for a one-to-one interview. Make sure that you are well presented and well groomed. Okay, so now I'm going to just quickly cover some of the free resources we've got. We've got some great resources that you can just download off the website. So 3 resources, one on interview techniques, developing your CV, and the booklet on researching employment is all about what Matt was saying. So it's all about application forms, cover letters, and also talking about getting a job in social media. Now, these free resources are fantastic. So you can get it from the link that's just been posted there. And I would encourage everyone that's listening, please download these PDFs because they're free and they cover everything from going through the application process as well. And that includes things like going for interviews for apprenticeships. Okay, so now we just want to talk about students at Leicester College. Now, the next slide covers what you can actually do while you're at Leicester College. Now, while you're at Leicester College, you've got access to a Moodle site, which is the Career Service and Job Vacancy site. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because it's an amazing resource for job hunting and getting vacancies, but also job applications, job interviews, and apprenticeships as well. So please find that and go through it and use it because you can download lots of great information on that as well. And there's free career videos as well. Okay, so just the next slide covers more information on how you can actually contact us and find out more information, but more information about websites that are out there. So I'm just going to cover some of the popular ones that are there. So on the left-hand side, we've got the National Career Service. Over 750 job profiles are there that you can find out more information, and also a career matching tool as well. I Could is career videos and more that you can watch. Career experts, they cover all aspects of the career journey. And YouTube is amazing because it covers all the things that we've been talking about. So it's got videos on techniques for going for interviews. It's got information on apprenticeships as well. Career Pilot is one of the best careers website that is out there. I would encourage you to look at that. Barclays Life Skills is all about employability. It's a really great resource, and again, it's free. And again, if you're worried about getting an apprenticeship or going for a job or going job search, that is the place to go for. The Youth Employment UK has got fantastic information for young people going for jobs, and it's got lots of free resources as well. And finally, we've got some of the websites that Holly was talking about, which is the .gov website called Find an Apprenticeship. And you've got it there. It's apprenticeships.gov.uk. You've got the link there. And then we've also got amazing apprenticeships as well, because this is the National Apprenticeship Week as well. Okay, I'm just going to pass on now to Matt, who's going to talk about how you can contact the Career Service if you ever need more help. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Saf. So as I mentioned before, you can contact the careers team, the National Careers Service, and the other careers team that Saf belongs to. So they're 16 to 18-year-olds, and the National Careers Service contract that we work on is 19 plus. So you can see just there, the 2 people there. One of them is me, the other one is Keisha, my colleague, and we can help with numerous things such as application forms, interview skills, career options, course options, mock interviews, whatever it is you're interested in. We can usually help you. And when you email into the service, the email will get sent to one of us, and we'll respond to you promptly, either through phone, email, or Microsoft Teams, whatever you decide you want to do. But yeah, that's our contact details. So please get in contact, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you. Oh yes, and thank you for listening. That was one of the big. Thank you for listening to us. And I believe we do have some questions that we're going to share around the 3 of us today.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. So I'm just going to bring everyone back in, and then we can go through some of the frequently asked questions we get quite a lot from the team. And if you have any questions, like Matt did mention earlier today, do pop them into the comments, and we will go through them all and answer them live for you. If you are watching this when we are no longer live, still pop them into the comments, and we will get back to you. And if we need the expert advice, we'll contact Holly, Sarfraz, or another member of their team to help you out there. So let's just bring up the first question we have. There we go. So what do employers look for in an apprentice? So Holly, you're probably the best person to answer this.
No, that's absolutely fine. So I think with employers, because they are looking to train you, they're not looking for someone that ticks all the boxes in the job description that you'll be doing on a day-to-day basis. It's more about your attitude, your personality, and how eager you are to learn. They obviously want someone to show personality on their interview. So I think definitely in your interview, get your personality out there. Try not to let your nerves get the better of you. And just kind of be yourself, have a conversation with them. So when they do employ you, they know that they can work happily alongside you, and it'll be a good working relationship there. I think someone that's gone above and beyond to get a bit of work experience is always great. It's always just making yourself more employable, and I think because you are learning so much on an apprenticeship, it's really important to kind of, if you're doing that already before and you're putting yourself out there to learn new things, people will really take that really well.
Perfect. Thank you for that. So the next question we've got is, can I get help at the college with job search and checking my CV? Who'd like to say that?
Shall I take that one?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt.
Certainly can. So part of what we do is, as I mentioned before, is to help you with your job search. So not only where to look for work, different tactics of trying to find work, but also helping you put together and review your CV as well, because it's an important document, as I was sort of mentioning before, when it comes to the application forms. It's important when it comes to selling yourself to the employer, and we can do that for you. At the moment, we're doing everything remotely, so you could get in contact with us if you wanted to discuss your job search options or job application techniques. Then by all means, drop us an email. We'll be able to help you with that. If you want to help with your CV, we can help you with that as well, provide you some feedback and all tips on how to actually put together a CV. But yeah, that's something we'd definitely help with, and we've been more than happy to do so. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. So the next question we've got is, what job search websites do you recommend? Sarfraz, did you want to say that?
Yeah, I'll go for that one. Okay, so there's quite a lot of job sites out there. You can just actually, if you were to just Google looking for a job or job websites, you'll come up with lots. But I'll mention a few that I've kind of tried and tested. We've put a lot actually on our Moodle site for those people listening at Leicester College, so you can look at those. I'll mention a few. I do like Leicester Employment Hub, which is one of my favorite websites at the moment. It actually breaks down into things like apprenticeships, looks down into jobs as well, part-time work. It's got it all in there. I like Indeed. Indeed is very useful because Indeed has got an app that you can actually download. And with Indeed, you can actually upload your CV as well, and it acts like a bit like a recruitment tool as well. So it's very good for doing that. You've got also, if you're looking for jobs within different sectors, you've got like the NHS, have got obviously their job site, and then you've got the City Council for jobs to do, like for example, health and social care, teaching, care work. I mean, there's quite a few in there as well. So that's just a few to just get you started as well. Now, if you, like I said, if you need any help, we have got lots of information, and in fact, the booklets, the student guides to employment, they've got a list of all the kind of jobs websites at the back, and you can always contact us as well.
Perfect, thank you. So the next question leads on from that actually with the assistants. Can I practice a mock interview with a careers advisor? Matt, would you be able to say that?
I'll say that.
Bro.
Certainly can. Yeah, we do help with that, because we appreciate, as Sarfraz was saying earlier, that an interview situation can be very nerve-wracking, and it can help to sort of, to a certain extent, rehearse the questions and think about some answers that you might that might be useful to help you in your interview situation. So how it would work is, at the moment it's over the phone or via email, but we go through a number of questions that you might get asked in a typical interview situation for certain types of roles, and then you provide answers to us, and then we give you some feedback on those answers. So we help you think about what the interview is asking you, and then how your answer addresses or doesn't address that question, and maybe ways in which you can improve the way you choose to respond. And it can help people to improve their confidence and make them feel more prepared for an interview situation, which is an unusual situation. It just is. It's a bit strange, but it's a necessary thing. And the better we can get at it, then the more chance we are of being successful. Because we're always going to be nervous. It's just naturally a nervous situation. But it's how the more we can prepare makes it easier to control those nerves and those worries. And that's what a mock interview can help with. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. The next question, I believe this one's going to be for you, Holly. How can I make my apprenticeship application stand out?
So there's a few ways that you can obviously make yourself stand out on an application. People can think it's quite hard because it is a piece of paper. There's no kind of, when you're applying, it's just online, you're not in person. So it's not until you get to the face-to-face stage where you can kind of show your personality. So it's really important to try and get some of your personality across on the application. So things like, for example, things that you're interested in. So on a CV or an application, it's really important to kind of get these across. Quite a lot of people kind of just put, oh, I like to read and stuff like that, which is fine if you do like to read, but think about things that you like to do in your spare time and just be honest. If it is just going out with your friends and being social, that's absolutely fine, but kind of go into detail about the things you like to do, the things you like to kind of, if you watch things on telly, what kind of things you like to watch, just to make sure that you are getting some kind of personality across. Also, just a tip, just kind of to make sure it does stand out. I think quite a lot of people can rush their applications. If you really do take time with your application and make sure you're really investing into that, the people that are looking at the application will see that and it will stand out from the others. But yeah, thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. And the final question we've got at the moment is, what is a cover letter and where can I get help to write one? Sarfraz, I think you're probably the best person for this.
Yeah, okay, so a cover letter is basically an introduction to your CV or your application form. It's a professional way of applying for jobs, and basically nowadays it tends to be a letter, but it tends to be an email introduction. You can look at some examples online. If you were to just Google cover letters and put it on images, you can have a look at lots of different ways of doing it. We've got examples of a cover letter on our researching and applying for work. So if you want to get that booklet, there's lots of examples of it. Basically, the cover letter is usually an email to say, you know, who you are, what you've done. It might cover some of your qualifications, but then you can say, as you can see from my attached CV, I have worked and I've done this and I've done that. And it usually is a professional way of introducing it. Sometimes you'll see a job advert and it'll say, please apply by writing. And what that means is, you know, you need to put together like a formal introduction to yourself, who you are, what you've done. But yeah, the cover letter is a letter of introduction. There's another letter as well, which is called the speculative letter or the spec letter. And that's very different because a cover letter is applying to a current vacancy that exists. A spec letter is actually just you kind of contacting the company and seeing if there are any vacancies there. So there may not be a vacancy, but you are sort of seeing what's out there, and that's always useful. So, you know, you've got the cover letter, which is responding to a vacancy. Nowadays, usually it's not a Word document. It normally is the actual letter is written on an email and your CV is attached. And a speculative letter, that one's quite interesting because if you are looking for work experience or a placement or an apprenticeship, you are writing kind of a letter to say, look, this is who I am, this is what I've done, this is what I'm interested in, but I'm looking to see if there are any vacancies currently at your company. Sometimes there's not, but sometimes the spec letter can really do wonders for you, especially if you're looking for a placement. But really my advice is, I think that, you know, a lot of information that we've got, which is free, is on the booklets. And again, you know, you can always put some more information on the comments below, but you can always contact us on the careers inquiry form, which is on the website. You can actually put an inquiry in and we're more than happy to help and support you.
Brilliant, thank you for that. So that is all we have time for on today's live stream. Like Sarfraz mentioned, if you do want to get in touch with the careers team or the apprenticeship team as well, I've popped the links for both those teams into the comments, so you can fill out those inquiry forms and get in touch and get any help that you want. If you do have any more questions, do pop them into the comments. We will respond and we will help you as soon as possible. It is National Apprenticeship Week. We still have quite a bit of information going out across all of our social media pages, and you can find out way more on our website as well. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, that is all we have time for today. So I hope you have a lovely evening, and thank you to everyone else who joined this live stream. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll say goodnight from here. Bye.